Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to episode 2. Thank you for joining me and listening in. Today's topic is going to be programming. Now, I touched on it a tad bit in episode 1, and so now I'm going to go into details. Programming. It started, of course, the day you were born. As a matter of fact, it started from the moment you were conceived, even before that, honestly, because if your mother was programmed, then it's passed down in your DNA to a certain extent, depending on the situation, but for the most part, yeah. So, programming. Now, this also plays a part in your environment. And this also depends on where you're born. Depending on what type of programming you receive, but we're all receiving programming. Now, of course, there's no... How can I put this? Hold on one second. Give me 1 second. Let me think about this. The best words to put this in. Because, okay, yes, let's start from birth. It depends, of course, on the birthing method. I think that's the right, whatever, you get it. Depends on the birthing method that your mother goes through. Or what she chooses, whether that's to have you naturally, or whether to have you at home or in the hospital, whatever the case may be. Now, mind you, when I talk about these things, there's no blame game. There's no judgment involved. When you're born, you only can... Well, no, I don't want to say it like that either. It's, like I said, it just all depends. But we're just going to go, of course, I love examples, so we're just going to follow through on an example. So let's say, for example, there's a woman, and she goes to the hospital, gives birth. Fast forward, you come out. From the moment you come out, they cut your umbilical cord. Now, I choose to believe that is wrong. From certain types of research and just watching birthing shows and things of that nature, it seems a little aggressive how children are being born. To me, that's my personal opinion, of course. But through research, it says that you're not supposed to detach the child from the placenta so quickly, so soon. Because as soon as you come out, they cut the umbilical cord and they start throwing you around and cleaning you up or whatever the case may be. Now, just think about that for a second, though. You have no control over that, correct? So it's already starting off on the wrong foot, from my personal opinion. Now, let me state that any researcher or anyone with information to a certain degree is all based off of opinion, because we're all trying to figure this out as humans. You understand? We're all trying to figure out the meaning of life and our paths and our purposes. And we all have a right to choose our path and purpose, and our beliefs. Now, if you believe that that's the best option for you, or you believe that's the best option, period, is to give birth in a hospital, by all means do so. I mean, that's you. You have to do what's best for you. You understand? It's not necessary. I'm just shedding light on certain topics or information, and just sharing how I feel and how I look at it. And I'm just another person with an opinion, you know? But fast forward, let's say you end up going to daycare. Let's say you're 3 years old. Now, let's say you stay in this daycare from the age of 3. Let's say you stay all the way up into, because some daycares have after school programs. So let's say you stay in this daycare from the age of 3 till about the age of 7 or 8, let's say, for example. Now, from the time you're born until 7 years old is the most fragile state for a person to be in, because that's when you're picking up most of your information, and you're going to take that with you, and it's going to provide pretty much a foundation or a basis of how you're going to act and react to situations or life in general later on in the future. Very fragile stage. Now, me personally, like I said, it all depends, right? But let's say you're in this daycare and you pick up on certain things, and then you go home and pick up on certain things. Now, as a child, you're not thinking who's right, who's wrong. All you're doing is sucking in everything. You're sucking all of this in. And most of us barely have memories from that age, right? From birth to 7 years old. You have some here and there, sporadic. Sometimes you're not even sure if it's a memory or not. And sometimes we go to our parents or to our guardians or whoever, and we ask, hey, I remember this. And then they shed light on it and add more information to it, and you realize, okay, this is something that really did happen, right? But for most of us, you don't have that many memories. So it's somewhat difficult to trace back what your issue is, right? And that's why they started programming so early. Because think about that for a second. If you can't identify the problem, right, how do you fix it? Now, don't get me wrong. We can heal. We go through things, and certain things seem so off, and it feels like you'll never heal from it, and you end up with an open wound, right? And you're confused, and you just say, well, this is me, this is part of my personality. No, it's not. It's something that happened to you. It's not who you are. You understand? So you get to a certain point where you just accept it for what it is, and you don't even know that it's something that you should do something about, right? So certain people wonder or ask, or some people just dismiss these type of ideas altogether, right? Because it's easier to ignore it than to accept things for what they were or how they are. I mean, if you still are able to ask questions, I would ask questions. How was my childhood? Now, mind you, I'm aware of family secrets and certain things they're just not going to tell you. Certain things they hope you forget. Certain things happen in front of you as a child, and people don't want to own up to it. But this is the thing. If we all chose to do so, it would be so much easier. And let me tell you something. No one has control over you, and you don't have control over anyone else. Now, in saying that, I say this. Don't play the blame game. We all are born lost. Whatever's going on within that time frame or that generation is what you're going to lead with. So it's pretty much like the blind leading the blind. You understand? You really have to be accountable. No one else is going to step up and do this for you. Stop waiting on Superman and Batman or whoever else to come save you. Save yourself. Now, let's go back to programming. You're in school, which to me, like I said, my personal opinion, school is like a shaping ground. It's like a training camp. They see how you are in certain social environments, and nothing is really tailored to you personally, right? But the thing is, if we're so unique, and if we're supposed to lead our own lives, why are we in such a small bubble, right? you don't really dip into education until you go to college. Has anybody ever noticed, anyone who's ever been to college, you notice a huge difference in education, depending on where you attended school, of course. Me personally, I feel like public school puts in less effort than private schools. And you can see the difference in certain people that went to public school and certain people that went to private school. Now, mind you, everybody's not fit for that. Understand? Everybody's not fit for public schooling. Everybody's not fit for private schooling. Everybody's not fit for homeschooling. But depending on the child, you may have 5 children, 3 of which are perfectly fine and can operate in public school, 1 who needs to be in private school because they operate better in private school, and you have 1 that operates better with homeschooling. But who do you know actually takes the time to figure out which environment a child belongs in? Most parents, kids go to school, that's it, that's all they know. You got to go to school. Now, also they have certain regulations and things lined up where if your child doesn't receive a certain amount of education, you could get in trouble, right? If you don't send your child to school, they miss a certain amount of days, you will get in trouble. Why is that? Why is that? And then you have people who will graduate from high school and you still feel so lost. You spend more time at school and at work than you do at home. And to me, that's unhealthy. That's extremely unhealthy. We tend to forget how we don't need certain things. We let the government tell us what we need, right? How can someone tell you what you need? How can I, let's say, for example, one of my listeners comments on my podcast. How can I tell someone boldly what they should and should not do? And that's that. I can't tell you that. Even though I'm here to teach, I'm here to open minds. I would never force information on anyone. I enjoy a great debate. I enjoy people with a different perspective. I respect other people's opinions. Don't get me wrong. I'm human. My opinion could change. I may in the future have to come back and correct something I said in an episode or something I said in a conversation. I'm woman enough to admit when I'm wrong. Even though there's no such thing as wrong or right, technically. But I refuse also to be programmed. I won't let anyone else shift my thought process. That happens according to me and how I feel and how I receive other information. Now, we are all victims of programming. If you have a cell phone, if you watch TV, anything you do outside of yourself that takes you away from yourself. You ever watch something and you were completely clueless about what was going on with your body? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, try it out. Watch your favorite TV show. Right? In the middle of it, you may remember my words. All of a sudden, I want you to consciously be aware of your body. The moment you connect back with your body after watching that TV show, or in a moment of watching the show, you'll realize that your teeth are grinding. You were grinding your teeth. Or you were tightening your leg, or you were squeezing your hand, your fist really tightly. Most of us don't even realize we're smiling. Right? Which means you have certain moments when you're not aware of yourself or what you're doing. Right? Why is that? What has you so focused that you're not thinking about yourself? Why watch a show that's just depressing and it triggers you? You know, I don't want to trigger anyone, so I don't want to bring up any topics that may trigger you. But let's say, for example, let's say, for example, your car was stolen. And you're watching the show And almost every other episode, a car is getting stolen because this show is about, I don't know, thieves or whatever the case may be. And that's what they do. They steal cars and they take them to the chop shop or whatever the case may be, right? And every time you watch this show, it triggers you and reminds you when your car was stolen. Why are you still watching that show? How are you really, truly enjoying this show? Right? You are not even thinking about when your car got stolen. You forgave the person who did it. You got your car back. You're fine. But that pain is still within you, right? That traumatic experience, you still sometimes can go back to that moment where you realize your car was gone. Right? So every time you watch this show, it does that to you. It brings you back to that traumatic experience. Do not ingest that. Do not take that particular programming in. Now it's steady triggering you, and guess what? You're bringing the past into your present and your future. Before you know it, you're no longer comfortable where you park your car. You're no longer comfortable with certain things, and every time you go somewhere, you're a little on edge and you're a little paranoid when you don't necessarily have to be. You already healed from it. You already forgave the situation. But you're not realizing that your favorite show that you sit down and eat and watch, you're eating and you probably binge watching this show. And you're not realizing that it's triggering you. But on the other side of the fence, you look at it like, there's a character that you love in the show. And they're showing the thieves' point of view, and they're showing the people that are being robbed, right? And there's one main character, and you can relate to that character. Stop relating to that character. You're hurting yourself for no reason. You're hurting yourself for free. Before you know it, you're still in this vicious cycle, and it's just negativity, and then you end up manifesting depending on how much you're focused on that. But if you're watching this show every day, you're very focused on this emotion. And you're trying to figure out why does this type of stuff keep happening to me? You buy a brand new truck and someone breaks into it. They don't steal it, but they break into it. What's the first thing you think? Damn, here we go again. It's not necessarily here we go again. This is not something that God is doing to you. This is not something that life is doing to you. It's representing the situation so you can learn from that lesson. You forgive, you let go, and you move forward. Now, for those who find trouble breaking programming, it's quite easy. It's quite easy once you practice, once you realize that there's a problem. Understand? Once you realize, okay, I don't like how this is making me feel, so I refuse to feel it. Not getting detached from yourself, not cutting your emotions off completely, right? You just make a better decision for yourself. I'm not going to let this bother me. I'm going to leave it to God or whoever your belief system is based upon. I'm going to leave it up to spirit or etc. And this has nothing to do with me, but the person who's committing the act, right? And you transmute that energy. And what that means is you pretty much turn the negative into a positive. For yourself, it has nothing to do with the person that did this to you. You forgive for yourself. Everything you do is technically for yourself in an unselfish way. And that's another thing. That's also a part of programming, where you feel bad for doing what's best for you. Why would you feel so bad for doing what's best for you? It is because you have a good heart, but it has to be done. But you have that sense because of programming. Now, programming is everywhere. It's in the news. It's all over TVs and movies. Excuse me. And et cetera, all over the TV. It's all around you. It's in signs. It's when you go to the doctor's office. All of this, right? Now, certain people don't understand, and certain people just dismiss it because they're like, why would someone do that? Why would people go through so much to... Okay, listen. You will spend forever You would spend an infinity trying to understand why people do certain things if you don't understand how certain things work. I understand how this whole thing goes now, as far as the government is concerned. It's quite easy, and you know who made it easy? We did. We did. We, as a people, we made it easy. Think about this for a second. It's probably 20 of them, right? For example, let's say it's 20 of them, and we're going to use the word government. Let's say there's 20 of them that runs all of this shit. It's hard for you to believe, right? No, it's not, because they set certain things in place before your grandparents were born. You understand that? They set certain things in place, and they have absolutely no power. We, as the people, hold all of the power. All of it. And whosoever chooses to give it over, that was your conscious, well, maybe unconscious, of course, subconscious maybe, because of programming. That was your choice to allow this to happen. Think about that for a second. So it's like, it's pretty much like, let's say the world protested, right? Let's say 80% of the world protested. Let's say 60% of the world protested. We would win. It's more of us than there are of them. They only do what we allow them to do. If you allow them to program you, they will. If you don't allow it, they won't. Therefore, they can't program me, because I broke out of that. I broke out of the matrix. You can no longer program me. I control this. You understand? You're not, but I refuse to give you power over my DNA, over my soul, my mind. Whether that's consciously, unconsciously, or subconsciously, you don't have, no, you can't have any of this. You understand? Now, let me give you an example. The sun. Water. Someone tell me why we're paying for it when it's abundance of it. It never runs out. Water can never run out. Never. Ever. The sun comes up every day. Now, I want you to tell me, when have you ever woke up in the AM and it was no sun all day? The sun just no daylight. When have we ever had a news report or reports of, oh my God, the sun didn't, where's the sun? It's still nighttime. What happened? What? Never. Never have you ever, and never will you. The sun is abundant. It provides everything we need. So why are we paying for electricity? Why? God provided us with everything we need, and we allow these people to sell it to us and let us think that we need them in order to survive, which we don't. Has anybody ever considered the fact that your ancestors didn't have a grocery store? I still have family members who have homes that have been in our family for I don't know how long, and they just got bathrooms in them about 30, 40 years ago, which is not a long time, right? Just got bathrooms installed in them. They were built and they didn't even have bathrooms. They had outhouses. Yeah, that wasn't that long ago. Understand? It's so many things that they put in place that they think, oh, we need this, we need that. No, you don't. You have everything you need within yourself. You won't die because your bathroom is not in your house. It's just something we came accustomed to. Just like programming. You get so used to it and you just let it go and let it flow. We've all just been rolling with the punches and all been lost, which is not our fault because they've been doing a good job. They have. You have to give them credit. And if you don't agree, then they're doing better of a job than I thought. That's the one thing we should be able to agree on. Understand? Hold on one second. Let me light my cigarette real quick. I apologize. So, besides the sun and water and other things, there's just so many things that's in play. And all of you know this. Most of you, at least, majority of us know this. We know what's going on and we're doing nothing about it. So how can we complain? If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Understand? And yes, I've said understand about 25 times. Oh, that's because I want you to understand, but you have to start off with understanding first. We have to build this foundation, people. I refuse to let my people sit back and take this shit. We don't have to. You have full control, and it starts with a thought. You do not have to go out and find this. You do not have to go out and search for this. Sit with yourself. Close your eyes and listen. Listen to what your subconscious is telling you. Listen to what your soul is telling you. What does your soul say? What does your heart say? You get up every damn day. And I'm not knocking anyone for having a 9-to-5. What I'm saying is you're unhappy, right? Say you're unhappy, as most people are when they go to these jobs. But that's because you're in a field that you don't even belong in. There's a lot of healers out there. There's a lot of people out there that should be doctors, and they're librarians. They have no passion for books. No passion for the people that come in because they can't really they can't really relate because they're not in the books like that. It's just a job. You're unfulfilled. Yeah, you're getting this check, but at the end of the day, you're paying these bills and you can buy all these nice things or whatever the case may be. You can buy certain things, but are you happy? You buying all these things to make you happy, to make you think you're happy. But you're doing it because you feel as though you have no choice. Think about that for a second. How many people do you know, if they could quit their job today or tomorrow, they hit the lottery today or tomorrow, that they'll leave their job? How many people know? Let me tell you something. Out of 50 people, there's probably that one person who would still work. And we'll see how long that goes. You understand? It took me a while to accept myself for who I really and truly and was, most passionate about being. Because I know I'm a healer. I know I'm here to teach. Right? But that doesn't mean that I want to go to school and become a actual teacher. You understand? You understand? But if I would have let society choose for me, that's what I would be doing. And I love giving back. I love any lane where I can give back, but it wouldn't have fulfilled me. So, I've been living this long, right? And what is it all about? What's the point if I'm not happy? Huh? What's the point of going around and doing everything everybody else want me to do? It's a waste. It's a waste. You understand? Stop allowing people to program you. I don't care how much you love them. I don't care how much you trust them. If something or someone is trying to force information on you or force a certain perception on you or tell you how to, when to, it's programming. It's a slave mentality. You understand that? Anything that separates you from yourself is a problem. Stop letting these people program you. Some of y'all will regurgitate verbatim some bullshit you heard on the news or on some just shit you ain't researched nothing, and you will argue your ass off with people and be rude. Listen, now if you tell me and you explain to me that you feel a certain way because you feel that way, I can respect that. But if you're telling me and explaining to me how someone else felt some type of way and convince you to feel that way, don't get me wrong, I still respect you, but you got to work on that. That's a problem. That is a problem. You're allowing something or someone to think for you. How many of us used to remember all the phone numbers to the people that we used to call back in the day? Huh? Where my Star 69 kids at? Hello. Huh? When we ain't had no caller ID, huh? You remember that? You remembered all those numbers? Now that you got your cell phone, the only person number you remember is your mama's. Because I know that's me. The only person number I know by heart is mine and my mama's, okay? Because I allowed my phone to remember for me. That's a tad bit of a problem. Because if I get in a situation I need to call someone who's not my mama, then what the hell? You know? So I got to work on that. But that's a small thing. But I want to use that as an example because it's the small things that count. And I'm going to get in my own ass later. I'm going to have to work on that. Certain things that you have to work on. Now, I've been working on a lot of stuff, though. Not making excuses for myself, but I've been putting in a whole lot of work, okay? Start somewhere is all I'm saying. Stop taking people for face value. Stop taking these people you see on TV for fucking face value and having them fooling you and having them thinking that you should feel some type of way about yourself. Stop it. Stop it. Do you see the hole that a lot of these people crawl out of? They don't necessarily show you that or talk about that. A lot of people go through certain shit and they had to find themselves and motivate themselves and become determined. Why do you think the most successful people done went through a lot of shit? And then when you hear about it, you're like, oh, I never thought that. Yeah, I know you didn't. Be that person. Overcome all this shit, man. Don't let the programming fool you, man. Don't let the programming get to you. Now, if you're listening to this, you have no excuse. If not, well, it depends on how receptive you are. Is that the right word? Whatever. It depends. I'm sorry. It depends on where you're at, of course, when you listen to this. But if you've already been having doubt and this is making sense and you still decide not to make a change, then that's on you. Everything else after that is on you. If you still decide to go out here and be a robot and let people tell you how to feel and how to think, how to process your emotions, how to feel about yourself, stop looking at these people on Instagram. And men won't admit it, but they do it too, to a certain degree. They do too. We're all lost, like I said, all of us. I'm still on this path, discovering things. So I'm no better than anyone else. I still make mistakes. There's certain things that I was hardcore about and believed in, and then I was knocked off of that little pedestal, and I was like, oh shit, I was wrong as hell. But that's human nature. Like, it's natural, whatever. It is what it is. There's times I changed my mind and thought I was wrong, and then I was right. There's times when I was like, okay, no, I'm wrong. Okay, I'm right. Okay, I'm wrong. The fact of the matter is I still put in the time and the effort to figure it out. Stop being fucking lazy. Stop neglecting yourself because it's easier for other people to tell you how to feel. You'll never be happy. If you become a doctor because your mama wanted you to be a doctor because everybody else in the family is a damn doctor, what is that? Programming. You understand? Don't allow it. It's your life. The person that's trying to force you to believe something, when they pass on and they lived their life and they were happy with the decisions they made, and then you pass on and they were happy with the decisions that you made, but you weren't happy with the decisions you made. Let me ask you, how do you feel about hearing that scenario? Huh? Let me repeat it one more time. They're happy with the decisions that they made in their life, right? And they've passed on already. They're fine. You know, they shoot up to heaven or whatever your beliefs are. They're good. But you pass away. You're not satisfied at all with the life you lived. A lot of people are afraid to die because they're not living life. It's like, not yet. I haven't found that thing yet. No, you haven't found yourself. You feel me? If you're not satisfied with your life, change it. And it changes with a thought. Cancel the programming. And the beauty of it all is you can cancel the programming as soon as you want to. The moment you say, okay, this makes sense, I'm going to start paying it more attention. I'm going to start practicing consciousness, awareness, being aware of the things that I put my attention and my focus into, the things I put my energy into. Check where your energy is at right now. Check how you feel right now. And ask yourself, why do I feel that way? Okay? Ask yourself, why do I feel this way? And try to trace that emotion back as far as you can go and see where the first time you felt that emotion. And I want you to really sit and take a observer seat as you should. I need you to observe yourself. You need to observe, not absorb. You need to observe, not absorb. Flow. You need to flow. When there's let's say for example, a river, and there's this big boulder in the middle of the river, does the water stop? Does the water complain? Does the water complain and talk shit about the rock or about the boulder? Does it stop it? It don't. Therefore, the water doesn't complain. And what does water do? It still flows. River, lake, whatever. There's still a constant flow. You have to be fluid. You have to do the same exact thing. Don't let that programming or that problem or that issue stand in your way. Because according to the river, according to the water, there is no boulder. What boulder? What are you talking about? Oh, that boulder? Oh, okay, that's nice right there. As we passing through this boulder, we getting minerals from this. Yeah, and it's minerals in the water. And this water is good for you. That's what the water's going to say. It's all positive energy over here. I don't know what you're talking about. And water will refuse to let you program it. You're not going to convince water that boulder is a problem. Water's going to keep flowing. Water's not even going to stand there long enough to even talk to you. Water's fluid. It's going to keep going. It's going to keep flowing. It has a path. It has a purpose. And it's going to continue to flow. You understand? Now, let's go back to that example. Let's say the boulder is wide enough to block the water. And what does the water do? When something blocks water off, what does water do? Does it run? Does it complain? It stands still, doesn't it? Until something natural happens. It could even be unnatural. And it breaks or chips off one piece of that boulder. And all of a sudden, what does water do? It starts moving again. Be fluid, people. Be like water. When there's an issue, when there's a blockage, water stays still until the perfect moment when it can seep back out. And you need to do the same thing. Chill for a minute. Gather your thoughts. Get your shit together in your mind. When I tell people get their shit together, it has nothing to do with anything on the outside of you. It's not about finding a new job. You didn't like the old one. You using that resume and you have that experience, which means what? You're going to apply for a job that's similar because you have experience, but you're still not happy. And you like, damn, I keep getting these shitty ass jobs. And then all of a sudden, because you don't like the people on these certain jobs, right? That's because they're programmed. So what do you think they're going to come at you with? But programs. You're unhappy. You know something's wrong. You know this doesn't feel right. Right? And you go on to this another job. Different set of people. A whole nother set of people. It's in another state. It's 4 states over. Right? You're like, damn, it's shitty people everywhere. These jobs, it's hard to find a good job in a good environment. No, it's not. And then you have those other coworkers that are happy as shit. And you're like, damn, how the hell this person, dang, You just come to work and you upset. And this person come to work smiling, cheesing and stuff, happy every day. You like, how is that even possible? This place sucks. No, it sucks to you, and you're not going to convince that happy person otherwise. And maybe that is how they feel on the inside, but they refuse to stick to that negative energy. They still choose to be positive. Right? It has nothing to do with the people. It has nothing to do with the job. It's you. Your subconscious, your soul, your intuition is trying to tell you something. It's trying to tell you, like, this ain't for you. This is not your lane. We're not happy here. Your soul is telling you, I'm not happy here. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. This is not what I came here for. Huh? It's not what I came here for. I didn't come here for this. I didn't come here for you to be answering phones. Huh? But you've always had a sense of good communication, and you just went with it, right? Or maybe you had no choice. You got to get what you got. Hey, I understand. You got to go with what you get. You apply, you get the job, you have to support yourself. That's fine. But what I'm telling you is mentally know that you can free yourself. The moment you free yourself mentally, because guess what? That happy-go-lucky person who's actually not hiding negativity or bad emotions, the ones that refuse to just feel bad about the job, they're like, look, I accept it for what it is, and something else is going to come in. All of a sudden, either they're promoted or they moved on, and you're like, damn. Yeah, it has nothing to do with that particular person. And you sit and try to make excuses in your head. That person shouldn't be getting, like, I don't understand how this, yeah. It's all a matter of perception. It's how that person decided to look at things, right? Now, they still could be programmed, of course. And they're not sure why they should keep a good attitude, but they just know, like, I need to feel good. I need to be happy. And I'm not going to let this job or the people that work here affect me. And I'm just going to deal with it long enough until I can move on. And they're making moves, and they're motivated, and they believe in themselves. Don't let anybody program you. Not even me. If you don't agree, you don't agree. You understand? Just know it's coming from a place of love. Love and light. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. Don't let anybody program you. Do what's best for you. And take this time out to get to know yourself. Huh? All right. Love and light to you all. I wish you all the best. I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day wherever you are. And until the next episode, thank you for joining.